We're finally back with this crazy thing, but today we're going to be adding the escape pod to actually jump over the tsunami. So this thing's going to be absolutely crazy when it jumps over. Make sure you stay till the end and watch this thing actually get tested against one. Let's go ahead and jump in the workbench here and get started working on this thing before this thing destroys us. So this thing is going to be absolutely insane. I cannot wait to get this thing done. So we have a giant area right here to actually work with to put in a huge escape pod. Like this thing's just ginormous. Let's go ahead and actually start working on the hatch. So the one thing we need this hatch to be is watertight, obviously, because we're in the ocean. We can't have water flooding in this thing. We're going to go ahead and start on that today. So let's go ahead and actually start with this hatch. We're going to put it right here, and then we have to make like the water sealed door thing around it, which is pretty cool. First thing we're going to do is start on the corners. So we're going to grab this watertight door hatch thing, or this is just the outer frame of the door actually. So I think we got that right. If we don't, I'm sure we'll figure it out real fast when we spawn this thing in. The water will start flooding in almost immediately. Okay, so we're going to do these here. Perfect. And it's actually, I think, a perfect amount of like evenness. Oh, never mind. I guess we got to do a different one right there. And just like that, we have this thing totally complete almost, except we got to actually add the escape pod. And I'm thinking for this giant spot right here, we could put a window to look inside and like see if the escape pod's there. I feel like that'd be really cool. We're going to go ahead and add that. So we're going to grab a 3x3 window, and let's see, will this fit? Oh, maybe a 2x3 would work better. We got to make sure this thing floats before the tsunami actually hits us. So we got to be careful. Now we're going to see right now if it'll float or sink. And it looks like we made the watertight door correctly because this thing is floating and it doesn't have water in the interior. Let's go to continue on the escape pod part of things. This is when things start getting very complicated. Let's go ahead and type in linear here. We got to make the thing the escape pod actually will launch out on. Is it linear or is it track? Okay, we're gonna type in track here. It's track. Okay, we got it. So we've just lined this track all the way to the bottom of the escape pod. This is gonna help this thing launch out of it perfectly without like getting stuck in this thing. So it'll just completely slide out of it perfectly. We'll launch in the air, hopefully really high, and hopefully we don't smack this radar. If we do, we will have to move the radar back a few blocks. That's not gonna be an issue. Okay, so what is else needed for this here? Let's see. Perfect. So now we got these two things on the bottom. I believe these should be, hold on, these need to be a different subgrid. I did not mean to do that. So we gotta go ahead and click cut, paste. Don't forget to merge them in or else it would be a totally different piece. We're gonna go ahead and start making the outer walls for the escape pod. So we're gonna do something like this. I want it to be a little bit curved so it has some design on the outside. We don't want it to just look super weird. And you know what? Hold on a second. We gotta redo almost everything we just did. We want to make this thing orange. We cannot forget about orange. Wait, what color should the escape pod be? You know what? I can't think of a better color for an escape pod than blue. So we're gonna be making this entire thing blue right here. And then now we're gonna start on the walls here. So we're gonna start the curvature process here just to make sure we can actually exit the escape pod or the escape pod room without having issues, because as you can see right here, there's a little bit of a curve. There we go. Perfect. And now we're going to make the official hatch right here that will be the entrance basically, and that is how we will enter this thing. Is that too high? I think the hatch is too high compared to the interior one here. Yeah, it is. Yep, we can't do that. We have to make this one block lower somehow. So we're gonna do that, and it should work pretty well. All right, now we need the roof of the escape pod, but before we start on the roof, we need some seats here. So we're gonna grab the main controller person seat right here. This is like the one seat that does almost everything here. So we got that done. Then we're gonna have some seats on the sides here that we cannot forget about. We're gonna make it red. Red seat just seems like a good color for this. So we're gonna do 2 red seats right here, do a seat, and then these will be padded just waist seats. So have fun getting launched in this thing with just waistband seats. That's probably gonna be terrifying. I'd prefer a waist harness, but whatever. Can we make the roof from here? Perfect. This is just perfect, y'all. And we're starting on the roof now. We got to make this thing kind of curvy here. All right, so the interior of this thing looks absolutely terrifying. Let's go ahead and kind of make it look a little bit nicer. Let's type in window. Oh wait, hold on, we already got a window back here. Nope, that's not the right window. Let's type in window, and we got to grab the actual window that'll work. So we're gonna grab a 2x3 window right here, make it black because black and blue just fits pretty perfectly, and we're gonna have it seal the outside. And then you know what, we're gonna be risky for this one. We're gonna do a big one on the top window right here. This is a little bit terrifying, so we're gonna be able to see where we're going upwards. You know what, we're gonna do windows on all sides, including the floor. Does that sound like a good idea to you guys? Let me know down in the comments right now. Let's go ahead and continue building this. So we got 2 right there, looks great. And then just to make this look absolutely terrifying, you're gonna be able to see the ground below you when we actually launch this thing off. So we're gonna go ahead and do that, and then we need a window. Hold on. I keep doing this wrong. It's not like it's supposed to be sealed on the outside, not inside. There we go. And then we want the windows behind me here, just so you can see behind me. Now, I believe this thing has more windows than actual body framing itself. This is like a little bit concerning. We got kind of the interior done. We're going to continue. We're going to go back to it here. Let's go and delete these random blocks. Okay, now we need the actual boosters to launch this thing out. We did not think of that. We don't have like any room for this. Hold on a second. I need to think of this. This is important. Okay, so what we're doing right now, we're going to totally scooch all these seats over a couple blocks because we're actually having an issue here. I didn't think of where to put these booster things at all, because we need to launch out of this thing. We're not just going to sit in here and be like, oh, okay, so we need to launch out, you know? So we need rocket boosters, which means I think in the corners here, we're going to have to just cut these out totally, which means we got to also water seal it from the inside here. So we got those cut out. Oh crap, that's an issue. Okay, we fixed the issue we just had. We just put the track things that actually launch this thing out inwards one block. So now what we need to do is type in rocket here. Now we get a whole bunch of rocket stuff to launch this thing out of. We're going to be grabbing just the 1x1 here. We're going to make it red to make it look cooler. We're going to line this crap all the way to the ceiling full of fuel. So this thing's pretty fueled up here. Let's go ahead and do it the same thing to this side over here. Just line it straight to the ceiling of fuel. Then at the bottom here, we're actually going to type in rocket, which we already got. And then it'll be this booster thing. We'll put it straight down, and there we go. That's how we will launch out of this thing. Of course, we got to set up some logic for that. And we're actually having an issue on the interior here. We're gonna have to delete these windows. Really not that bad of an issue. And there we go. We fully covered that rocket booster on that side. I don't think we have any leaks in this thing. Let's go and paint this little thing there. Grab a window. So we have a 1x3 window. We're gonna be putting these 1x3s behind the actual driver pilot person here. All right, now I believe we almost have this thing done. Let's go ahead and launch, or at the launch button here. We're gonna do this thing right here, and we're gonna make it as red as we possibly can. So there we go. We got the red launch key right here. Maybe we should have like a thing that covers it, because this is a little bit dangerous. You know what? I don't think we need that. We'll just have like a half a second delay on it, so you don't want to hold it down too long. Now what this launch button will do, it'll connect directly to these bottom rocket boosters here and actually activate them and start using up the fuel. We're gonna have this thing really launch. So we got burn rate 100%. Oh geez, that's like really fast. Now this thing will launch already. You know what? I forgot something very important, a battery. Oh man, we got a battery. We need to add a battery in this thing. Okay, go ahead and do that. We got a decent amount of room though, so we can just put the battery right there. Perfect. Let's go ahead and connect the electrical to just the key button. That's the only thing that needs electrical in it. As of now, we're gonna add like lights and stuff. Oh, we got a big issue. I just forgot of something. This thing needs a parachute. We can't just launch it out of this thing. It needs some type of cushioning. So let's go ahead, type in parachute here. This isn't going to be an even parachute here, so I'm going to show you what I mean. Let's just go ahead. Should we do 2 parachutes? You know what? I think 2 might just do it for this thing. Let's go ahead and do 1 big red parachute there and 1 big red parachute there. Oh, that looks sick. Yeah, this is gonna work. Then we do need a little bit of computers in this thing. Let's go ahead and grab a delay here. We're gonna put this down right next to the other side of the battery. So we need about a 5-second delay, or yeah, we'll do about 3 seconds. You guys think is long enough? Okay, 3-second delay from when the actual thing is launched. So launch, and then after about 3 seconds, it'll activate both of these giant parachutes right here, and we're gonna make these things giant. So parachute size, just max it out at this point. There we go. Okay, so we got that. Now what we need to do, oh man, we got an issue. We got another issue. How are we gonna open this hatch? From in here too? That's going to be a really interesting process to figure out here. Let's go and paint this. Now you guys may or may not remember this thing, but we got the tsunami boat right here. You guys remember this thing, the ultimate tsunami survival boat? Here this bad boy is compared to this thing. That thing is so small. Like that thing only takes up the actual bow section of our boat now. I don't know how I made this thing so small, honestly. I feel like my builds are slowly getting larger and larger. Let's go ahead and go in this thing, see what kind of technology I use. So, oh, this escape pod was so small. This is like literally dangerous. Yep, here it is. Here's the issue I was thinking about. We need a radio antenna on this thing to actually transmit. Then we need one on the actual big vessel, the boat, to receive. So let's go ahead and type in RX here. RX radio. And we're gonna grab the smallest radio possible because we really don't need a whole lot of range to communicate with. So let's see, where should we put this radio at? It has to be somewhere. And here is the escape pod thing right here. This is the composite that we will connect to the radio here. And then to actually activate that, we'll connect it to the launch button also right here. Maybe we should have it connected to a different button though, like maybe one to open the door, just in case something breaks, which will happen. I just have a slight feeling. Okay, so we're gonna do that. Okay, we got that done. Now if we go inside of the Tsunami Chaser boat here, there's this little radio thing that you can actually see right here. Let's go ahead and just copy this entire thing over to our boat here, and we're gonna take all the data from this. So this will just open the actual hatch. It's a pretty simple system. And we're gonna put this bad boy about right here. I want the radio facing up though, because it looks really weird if it's facing down. Oh geez, which way do I have this thing? Okay. All right, so now we got another microcontroller here. What this thing does is actually open the hatch, and it'll open the hatch after it gets the signal from our microcontroller or our radio right here to open. So it's all connected up. Now we need to know what numbers to actually open this thing up to. So we'll just go with 1 for now. Let's go to this on and off. Oh, it's already set to 1. Okay, we're good. Now we cannot forget about electrical after everything we've just added. So let's go ahead and add electrical to our radio right there. And then in our escape pod here, we actually need to add the electrical to our new button and the radio. And then we cannot forget about some emergency equipment. So what we're going to do is add lights on this thing. Not spotlights. We're just going to do red lights, and these things will flash extremely fast. And we can't forget about this. We're going to have a transponder. So let's type in trans here. Very interesting. And then we're going to do transponder on the top. So the second we click this launch button, it'll immediately activate the transponder, which is very important. And then yet again, we're going to be adding another logic node to our just giant stack right here. Thankfully, it's small. The blinking signal will connect directly to both of these lights right here. And then the thing that'll activate the blinking signal is the launch button. And then how fast do we want this to blink? Oh, it's like a really, oh yeah, we'll do this. This is a perfect speed. You know what? 0.1 is even faster. And no, I did not forget about the flare. Of course, we're going to have a couple flares that launch out of this thing. So let's go and type in flare here. We got this beautiful thing that will launch out. We're going to have one that will immediately launch out right after the button. And then once we click the button again, if we click it again twice, it'll launch a second flare. And of course, we can't forget about some simple handheld equipment. So we're going to be adding 2 radios in this thing on these 2 panels. So let's grab a radio, flip it over a couple times. There we go. We got 2 radios. Let's type in first aid here, so we get some first aid equipment just in case, because we might actually take damage here on takeoff. I'm going to call it takeoff. And then if for some reason you don't feel like existing anymore, or hopefully no one else in the pod, we have this little handheld device right here that can make that very simple for everybody. So there you go. If you're stranded for long enough, that's you can use that if you feel like it. I believe the last thing we really need to do today is actually test this thing against you know, a tsunami. But before we do, I want to at least make sure the escape pod opens. That'll give me the confidence. Okay, let's just say we are about to sink. Oh, I see a lot of water there. Let's go ahead and open this up. We go in the escape pod like this. Oh, this is very simple and easy. I love it. We're in the escape pod. We do open hatch, open. Oh no, see, we're having issues. We're having issues already. Oh, that might be why we didn't have the transmit mode on, and we don't have a frequency. That shouldn't be an issue. We don't need a frequency, I don't think. Well, we're gonna see here. So the hatch should open when we actually go in the escape pod now and click that launch button, or the open hatch button at least. There we go. And no, we're having issues. Okay, I believe I fixed the issue. Open hatch now. Oh, this is awesome. This is awesome. Okay, this is going great. Oh, the tsunami's right there. We need to hurry up. Okay, you know what? Really fast, we got to delete all these vehicles because it's kind of laggy. Now this thing looks absolutely sick. I think it's ready to hit a tsunami here. Let's go ahead and just test it out. We'll turn on engines, engage some systems, a little bit of throttle. We need to run back here like really fast. The radar's on. All right. Now let's get in the escape pod here. I'm ready to launch this thing. Let's see. I'm gonna open the hatch here. We need to get ready. If this thing doesn't launch, I'm gonna actually be a little bit mad. Oh, this is gonna suck. This is gonna suck really bad. The escape pod hatch is open. We are totally ready to launch this thing. The tsunami is incoming. Oh, this thing's gonna be awesome. This is gonna be so awesome. I'm so ready to get out of this stinking thing, y'all. The tsunami is incoming. We need to hurry up. We need to hurry up. Okay, in a second here, we're gonna hit it once we start rising it, because we got to try jumping over the tsunami. Okay, here we go. And I believe we're starting to rise it right now. Here we go. This is it. Launch, 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 launch. Here we go. Whoa, we are so high in the air. We are so high. Oh, that was awesome. That was awesome. Why are the boosters still going? Oh, we're having issues. Okay, the boosters are off. We got the lights blinking. This thing looks so sick. This thing just looks so awesome. We are in the air. We've completely jumped over the tsunami. The tsunami boat survived, and this is going great. This is going great. So really only use this escape pod if you end up sinking, because we don't have bilge pumps. That's kind of the fun part of it. But let's see if this thing floats. Oh, this thing better floats. This thing better floats. Okay, bring the parachutes back in. We're getting dragged by the wind. This is actually kind of crazy. You know what? We can use this to drag us to land. That's so smart. But let's just say we cut the parachutes here and click it again. There we go. That should fix the parachutes. The parachutes don't look like they want to actually retract here. I'm desperately trying to get them to do it. Retract parachutes. Come on, we don't need you. Oh no, this is really bad. You know what? In a situation like this, I think there's only one thing we can do, and it's to grab the grenade and blow ourselves up. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. We got a grenade. This is gonna suck. Let's see if it'll actually kill us. Yep, it definitely did. Oh, look at that. That was like tragic.